visual. I see it all.
What's up, my people? This is your host, Visual. This is IC Web3, and we are here live with Rob Richardson. He is the CEO of thisrap.art, and we're going to get into some talk about Web3 and everything that's exciting about the space. What's up, Rob? How you feeling today, man?
What's up? What's up? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed, man. Having some coffee and just chilling, man, waiting to get into this conversation with you, man. I'm excited.
Hear you, man. I'm, glad to be here and love everybody in the space that's out here promoting that's promoting the gospel, as they say, the good work of Web3.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited, man. I'm pretty new to the space myself, and definitely had some awesome relationships already building and some great experiences. So I'm looking forward to continuing to build that. And man, let's just jump right into this, man. Before that, I wanted to tell everybody, I met you through a Twitter space, just bouncing into those things, and I think that's been a great way to just meet people. It's kind of crazy, just popping in, listening, and just kind of picking up on everybody's vibe and whatever they're trying to do with their space in the space. And we've been in a couple of the same rooms, invited each other to a couple of the same rooms. So it's been good, man. I'm looking forward to building some more with you. I think this is a good start right here. But let's get into this first question, man. So I want to know, in your own words, man, how do you see Web3? Like, don't give me a Google definition, but what is Web3 to you?
So Web3 to me is the next evolution in human connection. It allows us to really innovate in new ways. So when you've seen any type of innovation over history take off, it's because humans are able to innovate and be freer to do so together. And so I see Web3 as the best tool we've ever had in human history to connect more people, to create more innovation if the tool is used right. I really go over, when I think about Web3, I think about the power to create economy. And I think it's important for people, I don't know where your listeners are in terms of the scale of blockchain experts or everywhere in between. So I'm just going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but also to make it so people can try to understand and connect. So people have to understand why blockchain has been effective. We talk about Web3, it's blockchain and decentralization. And why is that so important? Because every point in human history that has been effective, it's because people have been able to use networks and people to create economy. So money is nothing more than a construct. The first use of money was actually used during Samaria about over 3000 BC, and it was barley. Essentially, it was food.
Yeah,
and people exchanged food for everything else that they considered valuable.
Right.
But money didn't really become really transformative until it didn't have inherent value. Gold and silver technically don't have inherent value. There's nothing, it can't feed you. It can't put anything over your head. It can't keep you warm. Those are things that are inherent value. It's only valuable because we believed it was valuable, because the elite said it was valuable, right? And then from there, why did money work? Because governments or centralized organizations said that this is something that we value and we will back up. So then people began to trust it. Religion asked us to believe in something. Money asked us to have other people believe in something.
Yeah.
So our whole history with money and economy and networks was just about money and centralized organizations, even when we became more decentralized, because in a way, right, when the money didn't have inherent value, that allowed it to spread and connect the world and do things that normally didn't happen. You didn't even have to speak the same language.
Right.
Right. If you had something from the Roman Empire that symbolized their monetary value, people will understand the language you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right. And so now, fast forward, we talk about Web3. What Web3 now allows us to do that without even the central authority.
Yes.
Now we can do something to say, okay, and so why blockchain, why crypto works is because we can share information in a way that everyone can trust.
Yeah.
And no one can control completely, but everyone can trust.
Yes.
And therein, I see so much opportunity to do so much good if we're really focused and we have people that are building with good intention.
Yes. I love it, man. I love it. That's a great outlook on it, man. Awesome. Thank you for that. Rob, tell me, what are the ways that you're involved in Web3? I know you have a couple different things going on. Tell me about what you got going on in Web3, how you're involved.
So because of that background I just said, and I saw the opportunity, I really wanted to get involved with Web3 beyond just creating a quote unquote platform. Lots of people have platforms, and
Sure.
those are good things. We need them. But I also wanted to make sure I was a part of creating a marketplace, because while we do have decentralization and that is good, I still think there's going to be, and there's going to continue to be, a role from some level of organization. And I want to make sure that we were a part of building in that space.
Right.
And so Disrupt Art is about, like, our mission is to connect the world and create generational impact and equity. And what that means is we want to be able to tell the greatest stories from creators all across the world. I mean, there are, when you think about Squid Games and how that really just got everybody was focused on Squid Games, right?
Mm-hmm.
However long that was. And I watched those episodes and they weren't even in English, right? That's not something that a producer in Hollywood or a studio in Hollywood was going to take. That's not something that they would have cared about, but that's something obviously people connected to. And what I'll give Netflix credit for is the fact that they are curating and focusing on content all across the world. So what I see us creating here at Disrupt Art is, I say, Etsy and Netflix meets Web3. We want to make sure that creators all across the world get to tell their squid stories, get to share their art.
Nice.
And blockchain allows that to happen from diverse creators all across the world. That's what gets me most excited. It's why we created Disrupt Art, to be intentional about building out the ecosystem. We're not exclusive at all, but we work to be inclusive for creators of color and creators in Africa, Brazil, and Asia.
Yeah. So you mentioned creators of color. As a Latino man in this world, and not really looking at, right? I've lived a very unique life.
I'm sure you have.
Yes. Very unique life, man. And, that's something that definitely stood out about your movement. When I was looking through your Twitter and things you're doing, and you mentioned that, I believe it's on the disrupt.art Twitter. You mentioned about, growing a global network for brown and black entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. I want to know what that means to you, man. Like, why is that so important, especially in Web3?
Yeah. When people focus on social impact, it's always viewed as charity, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, how can we do something? And there's nothing wrong with charity. I support charity. But to have true impact, you have to have economy. To have true impact, you have to have people work together to improve their own situation. And that can only happen through coming together and supporting entrepreneurs, creators that are trying to improve their lives and making sure that they have the opportunity to do so. So a quote, I can't remember who said this, but it's that, that talent is universal. Talent is not unique to a white person, a black person, a Latino person, an Asian person. None of that. It's universal. There are cultures, there are people all across this world that have it. Sure. But opportunity is limited.
Yeah.
And opportunity has been limited. And Web3, if we do this right, will unlock so many more opportunities that will create a whole lot more innovation, that will create a lot more money for people, while also being the right thing to do. Like, these are not mutually exclusive things. You don't have to choose between doing what's right and what's profitable. It's if you have the right mindset and you understand that a more inclusive economy is a better economy. So to give you a really concrete example, like every single government that has been repressive or oppressive in some way, you can almost to a T see that it eventually affects their economic outcome, and they end up not doing as well. So I look at the United States, right? Parts of the United States used to be very repressive. Where the South, where Jim Crow was, where slavery was, and you would see their GDP was always down. It's because their systems were exploitive, and that always holds back your innovation. So I'm doing it for two reasons. One, it's who I am, right? This is what I believe. Two, it's the right thing to do. And there's a third story. It's also connected to my personal journey that I haven't shared. And I haven't shared on the story yet. I share it all the time. But I tell people that I'm very fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in right now. Mm. I was diagnosed with a learning difference, but people at that time called it a learning disability, which is ADHD. And I struggled in school initially early on, but the light bulb visual hit for me in the 8th grade. And I had a conversation with my teacher and told her all of my dreams and aspirations visual to change the world. And, she sat me down and basically said, listen, college is not meant for everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. It's literally what she said, but
yeah,
not going to work for you, right? Yes, and I'm literally here visual. I'm like crying, because I poured my heart out to this teacher, but thankfully, after that bad conversation, I had a much better conversation with my mother, and she said, "Look, Rob, you never have to be defined by anyone's low or narrow expectations of you. You define yourself for yourself, by yourself." So I did have success. I did a lot of things, but my why has never changed, right? It's about making sure I can disrupt these common narratives and constructs that people find themselves defined by.
Yes.
Empower people. And so that's why it's so important to me. And I see Web3 as being able to really help people break out of these repressive governments that may want to control all the economics.
Yes, sir.
You can't control the internet.
Yes,
you can't, because it's decentralized. So I see so much opportunity, and I wanted to be a part of that. And it's so important to me because it's my life's mission.
It's amazing, man. That's amazing. I love it. I feel like someone like yourself, and I can relate to a lot of it and a lot of your why. I think Web3 is meant for us, right? I feel like so comfortable in it. It feels so right. And I find myself just being so outspoken when I see something just kind of going the wrong way just a little bit. I feel like I just have to try to stomp it out as soon as I can, because I feel like, we're not as early as others, right? Maybe somebody's been in a year or months longer than me or you, wherever we started, but I feel like we're early enough to be able to make that impact and to be able to make some kind of noise and just truly plant a flag down in this space. And it's exciting. It's very exciting for me, especially, like I said, someone like myself and yourself that we want to make a difference. We want to do something that's going to be impactful and just make a change in general. So I love it, man. That's great. So Rob, tell me right now, from your experience in Web3, what do you think you've learned the most from it? And what would you like our listeners to learn from your experiences in Web3?
That's a great question. What have I learned the most? I've learned that no matter where you are in life, you have to humble yourself enough to keep learning. Yes. So many people want to, in this space, I found, apply that, okay, I already have this many followers on Twitter, on Instagram. Yeah. I'm already this level of famous, so I don't need to do anything else other than just announce myself. And that's not true, right? Because this is a new community that you need to respect, you need to introduce yourself to, and you need to be humble enough to understand that you have to keep earning people's respect, keep earning there's not always money, their attention, their time. You have to keep giving value if you want people to return value to you. I mean, I knew these things already, but I think Web3 is really helping to reinforce things in that manner. It's also let me understand that humans have now shifted in a way in terms of how they interact. So talk about how you and I met, right? A lot of my friendships and relationships are quote unquote virtual, people I've never met in person.
Yes.
Right. And that never happened pre-COVID. I tell people COVID literally changed time and changed behavior. So it's BC and AC, before COVID, after COVID now, in terms of human behavior. So it really has taught me how much human behavior can change very quickly when things have changed. Because really, I don't think without COVID, I don't know if, I do think we would have gotten to NFT adoption. Sure. But I think that COVID accelerated the process.
I agree. Yes. And that's a great point, man, to say that, so many connections have come through this space that you wouldn't have had beforehand. And some of, potentially, or maybe some of your closest relationships already have come through this space. It's crazy. It's crazy because in such a short time, I've already, made some great connections with people that we started getting on the phone every day. Like, hey, every once in a while, sending a text out, just brainstorming ideas and just kind of bouncing off of each other. And it's honestly the kind of relationships that I really haven't had in a while with people that I know. in person, in real
Yep.
life. It's wild to me. But I love it. I one thing I've definitely learned in life period is that you just got to take it how it comes to you. Whether it's the good or the
Absolutely.
bad, you gotta take it for what it is, and you gotta accept it. You can't have like these big expectations of what should be. And I love the fact too that you pointed out, being in a space. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter what kind of impact you made outside of this space, because you got to start fresh. It's like we're rookies, It's like
Exactly.
we're the draft picks is coming in the game, and we've got to pay our dues. We've got to pay our dues. It's 100% true,
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So along with those experiences, I know there's been challenges. There has to be some sort of challenge that you faced so far in this space. I want to know about any of those challenges, and what do you think everybody listening can learn from that?
Well, there are many. So like, I did one of the hardest things you can do in this, and we didn't connect to another marketplace and say we're a marketplace. We literally from scratch created a marketplace.
Yes.
And so when you create and you are the actual marketplace, it's like having a child that never grows up. So the child goes to the bathroom, the child knocks stuff over, and it's constantly evolving. So it's just a constant process of, you want to call it failure, I'll call it iteration after iteration after iteration.
Sure.
But that is failure, right? Failure is coming up short or in a way you didn't expect, and then most importantly, learning from it. So
Yes.
the whole process has been nothing but learning, and it's been very, very, very hard. I also think, we are we're the first Black-owned, to my knowledge, the first full-scale Black-owned NFT marketplace in the world. We are seeking to do a raise. Our raise has been much harder. We're going to get to our goal because it is what it is.
Sure.
But, I know that other people with just an idea have gotten millions. And right now, like, we have a whole full-scale marketplace, and we're still raising, right? So, and it's not been easy, and I'm sure it's been more difficult. We've had to be very inventive and figure out other ways to get cash flow. And it's the story of being a Black entrepreneur. And it's despite everything you hear about new records and things like that, the percentages are still pretty close to the same, right? So like it's been really challenging. Like I would have expected the fundraise to go a little smoother than it's gone, but it hasn't, right? Despite the fact that when we have conversations with some of the VCs, they're like, well, at first they're like, let's see the product built. And the product's built. Like, it costs a lot of money just to build a product. And they're like, let's see your sales at whatever. I'm like, well, by the time we get to sales, we get sales in a minute. Why do we need you?
Right.
So like, right?
Man.
That's been part of my thing. So, but we just made a hard pivot. And look, I'm not saying none of this to whine. The process is the process.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been challenging things never go according to the linear path. But I've also had that experience in everything that I've done. Like, nothing has ever gone the exact way I thought it should.
Right.
And that's probably good, though, because when things go exactly like you think they should, usually there's something you missed in that process, or it's and if you haven't come any bumps in the roads, then I think you also haven't challenged yourself enough. I tell people, if you haven't reached a point where you feel like you can't go any further, then you haven't pushed yourself hard enough in life.
True. And if you haven't come across any challenges and you have enough foresight, it's coming. Coming eventually, right?
Exactly.
It's coming eventually.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about collections.
Sure.
I know you have some NFTs. What do you have? What's your prized possession?
What is my prized possession? I'm actually not a big PFP guy.
Okay.
Though I tell people, like, I don't have any quote unquote blue chip
Sure.
NFTs, but we're going to curate and create some of disrupt.art that I'm working on. Right.
Awesome.
So we got some of those, but again, how does one define blue chip? To me, it's things that I value. So I purchased an artwork, a video from an artist named Zainab, and I really love her work. I think it's she's a artist from Sudan, and she has her piece is about peace. Actually, it's about making sure that peace comes to Sudan, and it's out to her people, and part of her money goes to helping people on the ground in Sudan and helping them through everything they've been through. Awesome. I think she's very, very talented. and I supported her work. I supported her on OpenSea despite having another marketplace because I believe it's important to support artists. Another one of my pieces that I really like is by an artist named David Bianchi. He does social impact spoken. He has a concept called Spinema, combining spoken word and film.
Okay.
And so one of his first piece was a poem about the killing of George Floyd and the injustice behind it. And he released that, and I bought one of his first pieces. He's gone on to be very successful.
Awesome.
And I bought quite a few of his pieces because most of the things I collect. And again, nothing wrong with people that collect.
Sure.
It's simply for the flip. I haven't done that. Doesn't mean I wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I've actually invested in artists that I really connect with. I like their work. I like what they stand for. And again, doesn't mean I wouldn't collect some PFPs. I just haven't been really big on PFPs. I have one, I think Afro Joys, that's a PFP. But basically, I don't really do many of the collections in the space.
Okay. No, I feel that. I kind of have a similar view on it. A lot of my friends kind of give me a hard time because I like to collect stuff that either, like you said, I'm with the cause behind the artists and whatever they may be pushing, or I just simply like the art. It just catches my eye, and I'm like, hey, I dig that. I would print that and put it on my wall in my basement or in my living room or something. I want to look at that, or I want to put it on a T-shirt, whatever it may be. Not necessarily because I want to make a few bucks. Nothing wrong with that, of course.
Nothing wrong with that, no.
No, but it's not my first instinct to go after something because I know it's going to make a few bucks. So definitely agree with that. So Rob, we're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to get into the next set of questions. We're going to hear, a little bit from yourself again. We're going to get into the gas round. That's what I like to call, because, we all know about gas in this space, man, and we always want it to be as quick as possible, right? So that's what we're going to get into, Rob. So
and luckily in our space, there is no gas on flow. So if you want to come and not have gas, come to us.
I like that. Make sure you guys keep that in mind when you're looking for your space, for your NFTs. No gas, baby. I like that. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hi, we're the Z Twins, and we want you to check out our family website, phrazeme.com. That's PHRAZE me.com. We make cool designs for your home and your clothing. Our mom, our dad, and even our sisters make special designs just for you. When you're purchasing your first item, we want you to enter the code ZTWIN so that way you can get 15% discount off of your first purchase. Don't forget, that's phrazeme.com. Thank you.
All right, my people, we're back on IC Web 3 with Rob Richardson, and we're going to get into the gas round. So, Rob, you know how this goes. We want gas to be fast, so I'm going to just hit you with some questions. Give me your quickest, shortest answers. Sure. And we'll flow right through these. So let's start with what is your biggest challenge, either as a collector or somebody that's developing a space for artists? What's your biggest challenge when it comes to that?
Scaling and getting artists to not just default to what they know with OpenSea or others.
Excellent. And how about your biggest strength?
Our biggest strength is that we offer things that are unique. Like we offer essentially unlimited minting capacity. You can mint with the same level of quality that your art has. So instead of downgrading to 4K or 8K, you can keep it. You can mint a whole video. You can mint a whole a film. So we can do things that other platforms don't.
I love that. What's the greatest thing you're looking forward to in Web3?
The greatest thing I'm looking forward to is empowering millions of creators all across the world to be able to fulfill their dreams, to be a creator and not to have to be a starving artist, but to actually have impact by having income.
Okay, awesome. Tell me a daily routine or a habit that keeps you focused on your goals.
So every morning I work out and then I meditate and breathe. I work to do that every single morning. I didn't do it this morning. That's because my routine was messed up, but that's my foundational habit.
Awesome, man. Give us an app, software, service, or any resource that you use that just makes things easy for you, especially in Web3.
Oh, an app that makes things easy for me in Web 3? Well, I'll just tell you an app that I use a lot. Not necessarily to make it easier for me in Web 3, but I do Audible in terms of reading. Instead of reading a book, I go through Audible, and that helps me really retain the information and do so in a way that's more effective to me than reading. So I think Audible, and then I would say as an app, I mean, it's not, I don't know if you call it app, but YouTube and just how much you can learn on YouTube. And finally, Twitter Spaces, because that's where you can connect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love all three of those. All right, Rob. So let's wrap it up right here, man. Just give us some final advice. Any, comments you want to drop in for the people listening, and definitely wrap up with letting us know where we could find you.
Yeah. I guess my final piece of advice would be to keep going. Like the path is not linear. It's going. You're going to have struggle, and you should embrace struggle. But you should stay even through the process. When you have struggle, understand that's part of the process. When you have success, celebrate the success, but don't get wrapped in it too much, because then if it becomes only about the success, you can't stay even. You'll just fall apart.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go down. I mean, but life may go up and down, but the goal is to stay even and to really keep perspective on that. If you keep going, if you keep pushing in the right direction, things may not turn out as you expected, but they will always turn out better. So, I mean, that would be my advice to people. And connect with us on disrupt.art. If you believe that we need to make sure all voices are counted within Web3, and if you're a musician, if you're a photographer, and you want to have high quality film or photos, or if you're a collector and you care about these things, please come to our site. It's Black History Month. We're going to be doing a whole lot to celebrate Black creatives and Black artists that we have coming out. And again, you don't have to be an artist of color. If you support social impact and you support connecting the world, we really want you to come in and be an artist and be a collector on our site. You don't have to stay just in the OpenSea world. There are no gas fees here, and you can and we actually interact and share metadata with Rarible. So if you want to go back and sell it on the secondary market, you can. So come join us and disrupt.art.
Awesome. Well, Rob, I appreciate your time, man, and the insight. Looking forward to building with you in the future, continuing to be part of this Web3 space with you.
Get you a wallet.
I'm definitely popping in on disrupt.art, and
you go on MoonPay, get you some money, and go support some of these artists.
I'm going to go check it out, man, for sure. Definitely get in tune with it. And if there's anything I could do for you in any way, please reach out to me. Don't hesitate. I'm here for you. And once again, thank you for your time, my people. This is Visual here with Rob Richardson. This is IC Web3. Until next time, peace, blessings, and hundreds of lessons.
Peace.